it's easier to talk to someone who's been there, done that, because they understand. You can have people that are very sympathetic and empathetic, but they still don't have any clue what it feels like to be you in that dark spot where you feel worthless and dirty and worth nothing, just worthless. And that's not a good place to be for any length of time. And I was there for quite some time. And now it's been about 15 years since then. So now I can, confidently tell people you're not always going to feel this way.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Today's episode is sponsored by both books, Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself, and the follow-up bestseller, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. Head over to Amazon.com, pick up both books. They are available in a trifecta of paperback, audio, and ebook. Cop all three of both and be on the lookout for another book from yours truly to help podcasters succeed. Now let's get on with today's episode. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as the Going North Podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today, my friends. That's right, indeed. Another super special, awesome human indeed. Courtesy of my good buddy, Mr. Eminem, Mr. Mickey Mickelson, indeed, who loves to travel the world. I thought we kidnapped him here to USA because of the barbecue, and then my man traveled overseas, and my man fell into a thirst trap and came back to Canada, but I don't know where he is. But hey, he's hooked up with some great humans, and today is no different indeed because we got a fellow USA. USA,
Woohoo!
baby. That's right, indeed. A USA American, y'all, who was a #1 best-selling bookcaster. That's right, indeed. A best-selling bookcaster, indeed, because she's not only got to the top of the charts with a best-selling book, she's also a fellow podcast host, so she can cast those books indeed, folks. That's right, indeed. So let's give it up for the wonderful TV show host, radio show host, dog, mom, as well as a U.S. veteran, and most of all, a fellow Christian, the kind and lovely Kim Lengling. How you doing today, Kim?
Wow, what an amazing intro. You made me sound interesting. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Especially since you're a veteran and a Christian, indeed. Always got to thank the veterans for the service. On top of that, for the country. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. And I heard you were able to turn sad setbacks into wonderful moments of resilience and helping others to do the same.
You have to. You have to do that to stay sane. I have found, it's I don't know, trials, tribulations, and all of that, and then having resilience. I've always been that way, I think, because I've had the mindset of, oh, not today. This isn't happening. You're not landing on me. And I always say the D-man. That's what I call the devil, Satan, whatever you want to call him. Call him the D-man. I'm like, buddy, you're not hanging out on my shoulder today. Yeah, I'm kicking you to the curb where you belong. You're not welcome here today. Not happening. So it's kind of like a stubbornness / faith / determination. If you could put all that stuff together and say, yep, I'm taking on the day. Let's rock it. Let's rock and roll. Sometimes you just have to really kick your own self in the butt and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, especially since I'm a D man myself. If a name starts with D and I'm a man, so it's like, damn, wow. Try to keep yourself away from me, huh?
I'll be kicking you the curb.
Because I can't see that smile. No, come on. Don't worry, we won't do too much mischief. Don't worry. Don't worry. The kids. Well, the kids will be fine. They'll just have icing on their heads and there'll be little cupcakes for people.
That's right. That's right. The kids will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong, with little poison? Have them tell dad jokes at a young age. They'll be fine.
Dad jokes. Yeah. Good old dad jokes. The old knee slappers. That's what I call them. Oh, that was a knee slapper.
Well, speaking of knees, slapper, you've been slapped around, but you're able to turn your setbacks into stories forward. So, my goodness, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 150 years, point 0.3 minutes long, and I probably only covered point 0.3 minutes. So, mind informing some of the folks who've been living under rocks, who is the kind Kim herself since your first time here?
It's always so strange to talk about yourself. I don't know how you feel, but I always feel I'm always on the other side of the mic. So it's interesting when I have to talk about myself, but I appreciate the opportunity. I'm an author. I'm a veteran, served a long, long time ago. So I won't share the year, but I am a veteran and I'm a huge veteran advocate, especially for those who live with PTSD due to military sexual trauma. So I've been an advocate for veterans for well over 25 years, and I do an awful lot of other things in the veteran community quietly on the back end. If folks need some help, they need a little assistance, they need a little hand up every once in a while. That's what I do in my spare time, my free time. What I do to keep me busy during the normal 8-hour day. I work from home now and I write full time, and I have my podcast, which is called Let Fear Bounce. And I have a television show called The Right Stuff, The Author's Voice. And just recently, I was asked to share some of my podcast episodes as a radio show. And it's a veteran run radio show, and all of the hosts are veterans. And so it's through the Veteran Network. That's the name of the radio station, broadcasting station. And they're based out of Colorado. And I was very humbled and honored to be asked to participate as a host for that. So that's on Sundays, Eastern time, 7 p.m., I believe, are when the shows air on the Veterans Network. But it keeps me busy, but it's also sharing other people's stories, sharing other authors' stories, sharing my own. And of course, I drink copious amounts of coffee. So I always talk about coffee, and I absolutely love and adore dogs, and especially rescue animals. So on any of my shows or whenever I'm talking to anybody, coffee and dogs will enter the conversation.
The good old C and D.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. And they say CD players are becoming extinct. No, they're not.
No, they're not. Open your minds, people.
That's right indeed. Open them faster than some other things.
Oh, you caught me unaware on that one.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. I didn't have to say what I was gonna say. It popped in my head.
Wow. Old Eminem didn't let me know what I was in for coming on this show.
That's good. That works out better that way. That means you're less trying to defend yourself from laughing. That's right indeed. You get to be your natural self.
Oh,
Right
I just let it go. you know, if people think I'm a dork, that's fine, because I am, and I embrace it. By golly.
And I freaking love it. And I also love the fact that you help out veterans, especially those who sadly went through some sexual assault too, because that's actually I think it was actually last August. I think I passed guest Janae Sergio. She went through uh that herself and highlighted it in her book, no less. And it's kind of a shame how it happens a lot, sometimes even more than folks think. And we're now in the era
Oh,
where basically
it, as one who has went through that, it does happen more than you think. People have no idea. No idea. And especially in the military, that's a different realm. That's a whole different world. So civilians aren't going to hear about it. And I know at the time when I was in and went through my experience, I was very young, very, very young. And it took a lot of years, 15, 15 years to address it. And that's a tough thing too. And that's not uncommon, taking years and years and years to address it. And so many of the folks that I've talked to or, just listened to, that's pretty much what I do is listen. It's taken them years and years to come forward and say anything. And I understand that. And I think that's, people seem to open up to me. I mean, I'm surprised by how much people share with me at times. And I know that I've become incredibly empathetic, and it's easier to talk to someone who's been there, done that, because they understand. You can have people that are very sympathetic and empathetic, but they still don't have any clue what it feels like to be you in that dark spot where you feel worthless and dirty and worth nothing, just worthless. And that's not a good place to be for any length of time. And I was there for quite some time. And now it's been about 15 years since then. So now I can, confidently tell people you're not always going to feel this way. And you're not worthless. You're not dirty or not, worthy of someone's attention or love. So it's truly humbling to be able to be in that spot that I can give that encouragement and in love and prayer, even if they don't want prayer. I give it anyway. And that took
Me
me,
like
that
you.
was a whole nother journey. That's a whole nother book in itself. Oh my goodness. I told myself I didn't believe in God for a very, very long time, but I was really, really angry at him. And looking back, I'm like, Kim, how can you be angry at something that you don't believe in? So it took me a while to get on my faith journey, to step on that path and acknowledge, wow, I was never alone. I wasn't, I wasn't ever alone. Holy cow. And how awesome is that? Throw your hands in the air and yell out a big old amen, but it's hindsight. So you look back on that path that you've traveled and it's bumpy and you've fallen and you've gotten all cut up and scraped and bleeding a little bit. But then you look back and you're like, oh, I see where that path was leading me. And it's not that I would wish any of my journey on anybody, but if I had not went through all of the stuff that I went through those first 15 years when I came home and right before then, I wouldn't be able or equipped to do what I'm doing now. So, to me, that deserves high praise. And I'm so very thankful and very humbled that I have the opportunity to do what I do, to speak my truth and to let others speak their truth and to share it on, online, on the radio, in books, however it is, but to get those folks' voices out there because everybody deserves to be heard.
Just like sheep, they deserve to be heard. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. It's so powerful too, and funny enough, that actually is a powerful thought you dropped there. One of those magical nuggets. It's like, hey, why be angry about something you don't even believe in? It's like that's a waste of energy and mental power. And it's like, nah, it's just your subconscious truly believed it. You just were telling yourself, I don't believe it. It's like it's Bird Box. I can't see a thing.
Right, right. It's amazing. And it took me, when I realized that, it was like this big light bulb moment. I'm like, I was so angry for so long and so bitter at something I told myself I did not believe in. But you can't be angry and bitter and dislike something so strong if it doesn't truly exist. That was a light bulb moment for me. And I was like, oh, Kim, what are you doing? So yeah, it's quite a journey, and it's still a journey, heck, we're all on a journey every day. You never know what the next day is going to bring. And You just got to get up each day and tell yourself you're going to rock this day because it's your life and you only have one. There's no sense, and it's not good for you to sit spending that life sitting in a dark hole mentally, feeling miserable all the time, because you don't need to feel miserable all the time because you're awesome. You're awesome. And you're on the planet for a reason. You are on this planet for a reason, and you have a purpose. So maybe you haven't found it yet. You will. And when you do, holy cow, your whole world lights up. And then you just get out there and you rock your purpose, man. Do it with passion, and doors will open. And then when those doors open, run through them. Quit staying behind locked doors. Those doors are going to creak open. Run through them and do your thing. Shine. That's my advice.
She's sticking to it like Gorilla Glue, y'all. That's right, indeed. She's sticking to it.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Like duct tape or Gorilla Glue. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of the stickiest stuff I can.
No, don't worry. The super glue too. That's still got
Super glue
some
too. That's
clout.
right. Super glue. I forgot that one.
Yeah, that glue has capes.
Yes. Yes. Golly.
That's right, indeed. So my goodness, so what was the turning point where it's like, all right, I give up. I'm tired of being stupid and saying this thing doesn't exist and being mad at thin air, even though God is real. So how was it like? What was your testimony of how you finally realized, you know what? Let me not be Paul to Damascus and have a giant light shine in my eyes and be like, oh darn, I fell off my horse. And I wasn't even riding a horse.
Right. Well, I had reached a point, and this was 15 years after I'd been home, and thinking I was doing fine, because I'm a veteran and I'm strong, that mindset. And my whole life fell apart. I was going through a divorce. My grandmother had just passed away. A dear friend of mine had just taken his own life. And it was all just boom, 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 one after the other. Within 3 months, so many big life altering things were happening. And it brought me to my knees one day on my living room floor, literally on my knees. I couldn't stand with the weight of it anymore. And I fell to my knees sobbing, those dirty snot face sobs, dirty crying, snot face. That's what I was doing, sobbing, gut wrenching sobs. And all I remember is saying, please. That's the only word I remember saying out loud is please. And at that time, I didn't know who I was asking, please, because I was just in that mental swirl. If you've ever been there, you've got this mental swirl and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to continue to the next minute. And I felt a whisper. I felt a whisper from behind me and said, but those who hope in the Lord. And I just stopped for a second. And I was like, no, I am losing my mind. I've lost my mind. I can't even think anymore. And just kept crying and crying. And then I heard it again, really, really softly, but those who hope in the Lord. And I kind of lifted my head because this is a really powerful moment. I lifted my head and thought to myself, that sounds Biblish. Now, prior to this point, I did not attend church, never read the Bible, had nothing to do with church. And I thought, well, that's Biblish, sounds Biblish. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I have a Bible in this house somewhere because somebody always gives you a Bible. Everybody's got a Bible in their house. So I went, even if you don't read it. So I went, literally became a little frantic, running through my house looking for this Bible. I finally found it. I went back to the living room and just sat on my living room floor again and was looking in the front and looking in the back. And I'm going, there's no table of contents. There's no index. How do you find anything in this stupid book? And I got really angry and just threw it. And I have hardwood floors. So it hit the floor and just kind of slid a couple feet away from me. And I was just sitting there frustrated and angry and crying. And then the third time, but those who hope in the Lord. And I went, and I was so mad. and I can't describe the anger I felt at that time because I didn't understand. And I'm like, okay, I've completely lost my mind. I'm hearing this stupid voice. And I was like really, really angry. So I reached forward and grabbed the Bible that I tossed away from me and just slammed it on my knees and it was looked down. And the very first words, and it was like they were literally, it was as if they were lit up, shining. But those who hope in the Lord will soar on wings like eagles. They will walk and not grow weary. They will run and not faint. And that was my turning point. My life did not become magically wonderful, but that was the moment where it was like, okay, Kim, you got to do something to feel better. You got to do something to feel better. And I did. So I started going to church, and friends of mine that were veterans in my veteran post that I belonged to, they kept telling me, you got to go see a counselor. We don't know what's going on with you, but we recognize the symptoms. We recognize us in you. These were Vietnam vets. And I kept saying, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And they said, if you don't go, we will drag you, kicking and screaming. And I kept saying no. And they did drag me, kicking and screaming. And I wasn't saying very nice things. But so, I got the counseling that I needed. I started going to church, even though I was still angry. I walked in there angry and left angry. Because I'd ask myself, who is this guy if they're talking about Jesus? Are you kidding me? He is full of it. None of this makes sense to me. That there's no way any of this is real. That was my attitude. But I kept going back every Sunday. I kept going. So I strongly believe that no matter how angry I was, the Holy Spirit was still doing his thing. Give me that nudge every Sunday morning. All right, Kim, get up, get showered, get dressed. You're going to church, whether you like it or not. Just like my veteran friends took me to the counselor, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my turning point. There you have it.
There you go. That's right indeed. No escape. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. No escape indeed.
That's right. You
Gonna
can
get
try all
this.
you want, but it's not going to work.
That's right indeed. You're gonna get this enjoyment. You're gonna like it. That's right indeed.
Yeah. You're going to accept my love and my grace, and you're going to like it.
That's right indeed. You're gonna love it. That's right indeed. You're gonna love it indeed. And glad your veteran buddy saw the symptoms and took you to get some help, because that's definitely some true friendship right there when they actually truly care about you. It's like, yeah, we gotta have an intervention here. That's right
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
That's right
And
indeed.
that's what, being on the receiving end of that made it so much easier for me and to understand how it felt to be able to be the one to help others now. To say, hey, I can get you somewhere to talk to somebody, or at least here's a phone number. Let me know how you're doing, and that made it, to me anyway, those guys, and I know it was a God thing, putting those particular guys in front of me. It was them pushing me. That was my saving grace. And now I can offer those nuggets of hope to others that were sitting in that same spot, to let them know you can get out of that. You can crawl out of that because you're incredibly strong. You might not feel like it, but oh my goodness, you're incredibly strong. And when you got the big guy on your side, holy cow, no stopping what you can do.
That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's right indeed. Especially when the cows also know the Lord. That's right indeed. They'll really be the
That's
holy cows
right.
then. That's right indeed.
You are a dork. So nice to meet another one. Oh
That's right
my goodness.
indeed. That's right indeed. Told you there was no escape.
No escape. Oh
Right
golly.
indeed. Well, Well, speaking of no escape, I heard you were able to help others join the business of immortality. Because if not mistaken, you got probably what, 12 anthologies now, 15 of them.
I'm in some, but then the ones I coordinated, the ones that I put together, there's 5. And the other ones I was asked to participate in. So I'm a co-author in those. The ones that I coordinated and put together, the first ones I did was actually during the first year of the pandemic, along with so many other people. I lost my job and found myself sitting at home. And I was like, I'm not sending out resumes. I've reached a season in my life where I want to make my own dream come true, not somebody else's. So I took a calculated risk on myself and started networking. And I mean, I'm sure you saw this as well. The whole world opened up virtually in amazing ways. Holy cow, in amazing ways that we never would have foreseen, And so I took advantage of it. I started teaching myself all kinds of stuff. I taught myself how to do a podcast. I had no clue what I was doing. Started networking with people from all over the world, met some amazing people I'm still friends with today, 3 years later. And that's how my first 3 anthologies, it's a 3-book series called When Grace Found Me. And it's women from all over the world sharing their stories, kind of like the story I just shared with you. Because to me, that's when Grace found me. That's my Grace story. The books are those types of stories from women all over the world. So that was the first 3. And we did those and published them that first year of the pandemic. All 3 of them in 1 year. Are they like New York Times bestsellers? No. But are they authentic and real and true from people who went through stuff and just have a heart to help someone else? 100% yes. 100% yes. And it was humbling to give people an opportunity to share their story. And some of them had never shared their story, whether they spoke it or wrote it. They had never. And it almost became, it was like this group counseling session for all the books. It was a truly humbling journey to do. And I learned so much along the way with each book. The one that I just had released, was it last November, is called When Hope Found Me. And it's still an anthology, but I came up with When Hope Found Me. It's because God does his thing. And a couple years ago, the word hope was showing up everywhere. I could not have the TV on, the radio on, open up a book, get online without the word hope. And it was like when the word would jump out at me, highlighted. And I was like, what? What am I supposed to do with this word hope? And I'm like, I am supposed to do something with it, aren't I? And then you feel that little, to me, I always say it's a nudge. I feel that little nudge say, yes, Kim, been trying to get your attention for a while now. Glad you opened your eyes. So I started thinking, what can I do with the word hope? And how am I supposed to provide hope to people? And then I realized I was supposed to actually do it in person, not quietly, not behind the scenes. And I went, oh, no, I don't want to. But, I have found that when I argue with God, I never win. So I did not win that argument. So it was a few months and I was like, what can I do with hope? And then I'm like, well, I've been saying, I just want to toss nuggets of hope out there. So let me see if I can find nuggets of hope. And I found stones with the word hope engraved in them. And they're pretty. I am a stoner. So I carry these with me in my purse, pocket, in my car, wherever I'm at. I've been doing this for almost, I don't know, year and a half now. And wherever I'm at, if someone catches my eye and I'll get this feeling like that's the person right there needs a nugget of hope. And I approach complete strangers with my little stone in my hand and just walk up and say, excuse me, but I would love to give you a nugget of hope today. And I've not had one person not hold out their hand. Every one of them has held out their hand, and I just gently set the stone in their hand and say, I hope you have a blessed day. And I turn and walk away because I don't feel I'm supposed to talk to them. I'm not supposed to have their backstory. I did what I was supposed to be doing, giving them that little nugget of hope. And what they do with it is up to them. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing doing it. It's been very uncomfortable a couple times, but now I just go with it. It's like, oh, okay, yep, all right, I see that person. Yes, okay, I will approach this person. I mean, I've had people cry. I've had people, laugh, like nervous laughter. I've had people look at me like, crazy woman, who are you? I've had people hug me, just hug me and say thank you. And I had one older gentleman yell at me in anger. And that one hit me really hard. Not that I took his anger on personally, because I knew he wasn't angry at me. He was in his late 80s, had to have been in his late 80s. And I think he was just he was having a moment. And his words to me were, what the hell do I have to hope for? And we were in the middle of a store, in the grocery store, in an aisle in the grocery store. People heard him yell. They stopped and looked. And I just stood there and just said, sir, the hope is for anything that you need at this time. That's what I hope and pray for you. He was still angry. He didn't yell and swear. He didn't swear at me anymore, but he was yelling and talking very, very loudly. And the thing that was throwing him over the edge was he couldn't find the dish soap that he wanted. And I knew it had nothing to do with dish soap. But it wasn't my job at that time to sit there and ask him what's wrong. I strongly felt that I wasn't supposed to ask him. So, I went my way and got in my car and just cried. It was like my heart was breaking. And it hurt so bad for him because I'm thinking, you know what? And all these scenarios were popping in my head. What if he just lost his wife of like 65 years? And he knows what kind of dish soap she always used, and he ran out, and now he can't remember the name of it, and he can't find it. And it's the first time he's been out to even try and get groceries or run errands, and he's so tired and frustrated and lonely and sad and grieving, and he doesn't know what to do. And some stranger comes up and gives him a little nugget of hope, and he just didn't know what to do with it. But you know what? He put it in his pocket. He didn't throw it back at me. He didn't throw it on the ground. He put it in his pocket. I saw him put it in his pocket. So as I'm sitting in my car crying, I'm thinking, you know what? Any type of scenario that I could think of might be what he's going through. Maybe he's sick himself. Maybe he's caring for a loved one that has Alzheimer's. I don't know. But he put that nugget of hope in his pocket. So maybe the next day, I don't know, my grandpa always, when he came home, he always emptied out his pockets and he put it in a bowl on the table in the hallway. So that's what I was picturing with this older gentleman. Maybe he went home, emptied his pockets, put everything in the bowl in the hallway. Maybe the next day he came down to grab all his stuff to put in his pockets, for the day, because that's what you do. And maybe he reached down and saw that nugget of hope and picked it up and looked at it and went, hope. And maybe he wasn't angry anymore. I don't know. But that's how I like to see it happening in my head, because if it wasn't that day, it was the next day. If it wasn't that day, then it was the next day. That little nugget of hope, that little mustard seed, was going to put itself in there and grow. I just know it. I have complete faith that it did, and it will. So that's what I'm doing now. Nuggets of hope.
You're a drug dealer busy slinging rocks. How dare
Stoning. Getting everybody stoned.
Dealing that hope like the leader
I know,
that you
I'm
are.
a hope dealer.
You leader.
Oh, that's a good one. Hope dealer. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
right.
that's a bad thing to be.
Exactly. That's right. Indeed, that's the way it should be. It's the real drug folks need, because all the other crap they got out there is killing people even faster and worse than the stuff from decades ago. So yeah, give folks that hope that they need. And it's a good thing that you still got that resilience, able to get that cry out and then do some thinking and realize, oh yeah, so it's like, oh wait, he did keep it in his pocket. He didn't throw it at me. I didn't get stoned back like in the Bible days. So it's like, hey,
Right,
it all worked out. It all
right.
freaking worked out indeed. And it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. So keep doing it indeed, because folks need it. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Kind Kim could be coming to your neighborhood. That's right indeed. She's slinging those rock
You never
stones.
know where I'm going to show up chucking nuggets.
Hey, it's better than this meme I saw like some time ago where this guy threw a brick through a window with his contact info saying, "Hey, you need a new window." As long as it's not like that.
Oh my, no, it is not. I hand mine out in love. Gently. Uh,
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness. So since you've been on so many interviews on both sides of the microphone, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the game?
that's a really good question. Golly. It's not one I've thought about. It would be if people were there's I guess a couple questions. How can I get my story out there? If that's something you want to do on your own or you want help with it. And how can I be a nugget of hope? So a couple, yeah, there you go. That's what I can think of right now.
There you go. So how can folks get a nugget of hope?
And a nugget of hope doesn't have to be a little rock in your hand like I do. It could just be a smile. It could be buying somebody a cup of coffee. It could be calling somebody on the phone. Check on your neighbor. Check on your neighbor. Go visit a nursing home. Go volunteer an hour and have coffee with a couple of the residents. I've done that before with the veteran residents at local nursing homes, and I'm going to be doing that again next Friday. They have a coffee hour. It's just amazing. I get so much more out of it. I just leave there blessed, ridiculously blessed, because there's generation that is so filled with so much wisdom and knowledge and history, and it's slipping away so quickly. And I don't think enough people stop, take the time, and listen and learn as we should. So whenever I'm given the opportunity, I love hanging out with the older veterans, World War II and Korean era. Love hanging out with them, talking to them, and just listening to their stories if they want to share. Just listening. I just soak it up. I'm a sponge with that stuff. And I leave there so blessed, and they feel worthy once again. They're not just someone shoved away in a nursing home feeling lonely and not living the life, missing the life that they had lived. Because I can't, I think that would be so hard. It would be so hard. And to give them that few minutes, half hour, an hour, whatever it is, to let them talk about, yeah, gosh, I was only 18 and I did this and this and me and my buddy this and the stuff that they did. I mean, they blazed a trail. Those generations blazed a trail that's unsurpassed. The courage and the pride and the morals and the ethics that seem to be missing in this time. They had that in spades. And I just so enjoy talking to older folks, especially older veterans. I just it's so I am so blessed by it. And I'm really looking forward to next Friday. I get to do that again. So yeah.
I imagine half of them flirt with you too.
Well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised. I was gonna say you might be surprised at what comes out of some of these gentlemen's mouths. I'll be like, back it down there, Chief. But it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. None of them are nasty about it. But yeah, they get a kick out of me and I get a kick out of them. That's for sure.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. There she goes dealing that hope again. That's right indeed.
That's
That's
right.
right indeed.
Just think how the world would be if everybody did that. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine all the people.
Ooh, she sings too. Hooray.
You have to randomly break into song every once in a while.
Yeah, you're welcome back here anytime. We can do a part 5 if we have to.
Awesome. Awesome. I'd love it. I'd love it. Thank you. Part 5.
Yes.
And here we are at part 17.
Yeah, sure. We can go for part 20 if you have to. Sure. You're
Hey,
freaking
you
fun
never know.
on all the
Hey,
buns.
all kinds of stuff happens every day. You never know what's going to happen. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Start
Exactly.
tossing nuggets of hope. You'll see how your day changes. You know, it's interesting.
That's right, indeed. Especially if it might be a chicken, just be like, see your future.
You know, I'm so glad I don't have like a mouthful of coffee when you say something like that, because it would be like shooting out my nose. Oh my gosh.
And I would have enjoyed every moment of it too. It's like, I got her. Yes.
You did several times.
Got her good too. So my goodness, so speaking of coffee as a form of nourishment, I'm sure there's food too. So the fabulous book, When Hope Found Me, if that book were a food, what would it be and why?
If it were a food, when hope found me, I think it would be like a really nice warm cup of coffee. I think it would be, on a cold winter day and you're sitting looking out the window and that snow is just falling so softly, it's almost like whispering down to land so gentle and sparkle in the sunshine. And you're sitting there with a cup of coffee and maybe hope is shining in the window on you. So that's what I think it would be, a cup of coffee on a cold winter day.
There you go. Move over, Folgers. It's about the hope.
That's right. I can make my own brand of coffee called Hope. A cup of hope. Cup of hope.
That's right, indeed. Heck, there's actually a winner. Sure. I might have to see if it's actually out there already. Be like, yeah, so I had this cup of hope today. So it smells like coffee. Yeah, doesn't coffee give you hope?
It does me. It does me. Need that jolt every once in a while.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. I know San Diego misses their jolt. Darn charges moved to LA. Anyway, so we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is, if you'd all wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Wow, looking back to my 25-year-old self, I would say, wow, you're going through a really, really hard time right now. And I'm so sorry that you feel the way you do. But I can let you know with confidence that you're going to be okay. That's a tough one. You got me in tears here.
Yeah. That question is always a funny one because folks always think straight to 25. They don't consider the second half because it's like, oh, in the current year, it's like you're 25 in the current year, you're a Gen Zer now.
I wouldn't want to be 25 again. I like where I'm at now. I'm embracing the season that I'm in because I have found freedom and contentment, and I accept me for who I am, scars and all. And I think it takes time to reach that point. So I embrace the season that I'm in now. I wouldn't want to be young again. I don't think, no.
Oh, you're still young. You're not 95 yet.
No. Thank goodness. I don't know if I could do 95. Age.
Or
Age.
you did it.
It's interesting though how people look at age. Well, I'll freely admit I'm 55. And I remember looking when I was younger, when my mom turned 55, thinking how old that was. And I'm like, I'm 55 and I'm not old. what made me ever think that my mom was. I'm not old, by golly. I'm just finding my stride. I'm just finding my stride, man. Finding my power and my stride and embracing it all, It's a really cool place to be in life right now.
Ah, cooler than two cucumbers, I imagine.
That's right. Darn it. Slap my hand on my desk. Darn it.
That's right, indeed. I got a feeling that's going to be added to the lexicon soon. The Kimsicon. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. She'll have more corny sayings, and she'll be saying yes, indeed, to unsuspecting strangers.
I embrace the corny sayings.
That's right, indeed. So she already knows she's waking up in a cornfield in the morning. That's good.
I live near cornfields, so I walk in them every day. So, hey, you're not far off.
Ah, good. All right. I'm a prophet. All right, good. That's right, indeed.
I'm a country girl, man. There we go.
No wonder I'm a big fan of you right now. Okay, all right. There we go. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Bright smiles, big stories, big laughs. You love to see it. You love to see it. So my goodness, definitely got to do a R25 with you. So my goodness, so for those who need to keep up with all the wonderful things that you're doing, because you're doing a lot, especially giving folks those ice cream sundaes in the evening with your radio show. What's the best way, folks, to keep up with you and all the stuff that you're doing, Kim?
Easiest way is just to go to my website, which is kimlenglingauthor.com. KIMLENGLING author.com. My podcast is on there. My books are on there. TV shows on there. So you can find out what I'm doing, what's happening, what new anthologies might be coming up, what books might be going to be released here soon. Fine. It's like a one-stop shop. And you also meet Dexter, my rescue dog, because he's my office manager and he has his own little page on there as well with his own bio. And he lets you know how you can get in touch with his mom. There you go.
Does Dexter have a business card?
No, and I've been asked that before. And I said, no, his reputation precedes him. He doesn't need a business card.
Good
he
answer
has
indeed.
he has he has he has he has an Instagram page and he has his own page on the website. So yeah, he's good. He's covered. It annoys him. He doesn't want so much publicity. It really gets on his nerves. So I have to keep it a little tame.
So he's an introvert and you're the extrovert, huh?
Sure.
That's a sure.
That's an answer, right? Sure.
Yep, you're welcome back here any freaking time. So my goodness, folks, you heard that right. Head over to Kim's wonderful site. We're gonna put a link to that in the show notes. Check out her online TV show, radio show, or podcast. Indeed, let fear bounce. Let it bounce like a basketball all the way to the moon if it has to, and beyond. That's right, indeed. Since she's a lady, it might even bounce all the way to Venus. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So let that fear bounce, indeed, because she's got a bunch of good stuff, and she's only getting started, y'all. She's only getting started. That's right, indeed. So share your friends, share with your friends, share with your camels, share with your penguins. That's right, indeed. Share it with the cow, especially if it's at a Chick-fil-A, where it says eat more chicken. Well, it says read more Kim. That's right, indeed. That's right, read more Kim. Yes, indeed. So my, you visualized it, didn't you?
You just keep rolling them out. I'm like, what? He just keeps going with this. Where does that come from? Golly. Laughing so hard, I'm coughing my coffee out.
I guess
Yeah.
that was a pun intended, huh? Coughing your coffee out, huh?
Yeah. Sheesh.
So
I
it
didn't
is
mean
the
to I
Venus,
didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Ain't no interruption. I'm just having fun with you. We keep the fun on all the buns here, especially honey buns. Don't worry, it's just a little bear with honey in it. It's fine. It's okay.
audio only. Audio only. The people can't see my face that I'm making right now. Yeah, the groan. I did that out loud, didn't I?
Yeah, told you it was the danger zone.
Indeed.
That's great. And the mind control's working. Well, before we fly deeper into the danger zone known as the rabbit hole of the Going North podcast, any parting words before we close up shop again?
Thanks for having me on. This has been it's been a true pleasure and fun. It's been very, very fun. And I appreciate the opportunity. And anybody out there, this little nugget of hope is for you, I guess. Never forget that you are amazing. No matter where you feel, what you feel, where you feel you're sitting at right now, you are amazing and you're here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose. You are no mistake. God doesn't make any mistakes. So just keep that in mind. That's my little nugget of hope I'm tossing out today. So grab onto it, shove it in your pocket, and keep on keeping on.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.